With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows the resourceful individual to earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash, receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and be rewarded with the handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Get the privileges of the high net worth for any net worth for just $5 a month. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product specific disclosures, visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
And now let's go to Hank Sheinkopf. We are talking about, of course, the big indictment. Hank, great political consultant for so many people, Clinton, Bloomberg, you name it. Hank, you and I, thank you for joining me last night, by the way, as things were breaking, Hank, fast and furious. Now the indictment has been released against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Your reaction, first of all, Hank?
Well, look, it's a terrible day for the city. It's a historical moment that we're going to want to forget, and no good can come from any of it.
You know, I agree. First of all, what are your thoughts about just even the allegations, and how does the city continue? Eric Adams said today he is not going anywhere. Do you think he can kind of juggle both?
I think the right thing for him personally is for him not to leave. The members of what I call the political industrial complex, you know, the wolves with sheep's eyes are saying, well, you know, he really needs to be given the right, all rights considered to someone who's just accused, but he really should leave because they want to get his job. That being said, there's no reason for him to leave. The law does not require him to leave. But the test will be, can he do this job and can the government function? And if it cannot, then it'll be the governor or someone else who has the authority to intervene and says, look, Eric, time to get out of here because you can't have chaos in New York City. And the first level of that will likely be, does the police department function if we start having arrests of police officers, which is rumored to be happening in the next little bit on the scandal involving some police officers, when the Times alluded to today. And God forbid that such a thing should happen. It's hard to imagine, but we have to think about the reality of all this.
Now, the reality is also there's a guy named Jumaane Williams, who many people in New York know who he is. He's the public advocate. I'll tell you, when I look at a lot of his policies, Hank, my eyes roll back. He's a self-professed democratic socialist. He's called Republicans Nazis. I mean, he's had some very strong vitriol. What does that mean?
He is a dog who needs to be put out of office, who called school safety agents, primarily black women. I think he called them perverts and thieves or something like that. And there's no libel involved there because he's a public official. He can't sue anybody for libel. That being said, he is single-handedly responsible for the destruction of safety in our schools by cutting costs, cutting numbers of school safety agents, and somehow believing that everything will be fine. Today, for example, 2 children in a school in the Bronx, one a 15-year-old young woman, was found to have, I think 16-year-old, was found to have a pistol in her purse. I mean, this can't go on, and he would be an absolute disaster, long-term, short-term for the city.
Yeah, there's no question. When you look at his background, and I'm thinking, Hank, and you know, we all love New York. You sit there and you go, at a time where we've got such huge issues with crime, the economy, there's so many, to have somebody like that. If people think New York is a mess now, imagine under somebody like a Jumaane Williams if he steps in.
Well, it would be much worse. The question is, what happens? Should Eric Adams leave, be forced to leave, or resign under any circumstances? There would be he would be the public advocate, Jumaane Williams, would be the mayor for a very short period of time. I think it's 9 days. Then it's a 50-day sprint until an election, which would be nonpartisan and would rely on what's that silly system called to replace the runoff that is more elitist than anything else? Oh, yes, ranked choice.
Right.
Ensuring that people have no choice whatsoever.
Hank,
yeah.
I heard some of the indictment things that the U.S. attorney said. Why would they talk about an upgrade on an airline? Why would they talk about an upgrade on a hotel room? That's routine. That happens all the time.
It makes no sense to me, and the indictment in many ways doesn't make sense. But yet again, this is something that's going to have to be litigated in a courtroom. Yeah, what's fascinating, John, is the amount of money that the federal government put into these cases, and we haven't seen even the beginning of them, right? into these cases in New York City, the amount of resources, we've never seen anything like this in our lives. And we never will likely see anything like this again. You know, consider the amount of money they could have put into taking care of the migrant problems or other things, but instead they've been investigating New York City, and it may come to some value and it may not, but it is painful for those of us who love this town and owe it a great deal of gratitude for allowing us to become the people we became.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Hank Sheinkopf, thank you so much. We love having you on and getting your perspective. Thank you very much, Hank.
Thank you. All the best.
Partidazo. Hattrick en la final. Goleaste una y otra vez. ¿Cómo te sientes?
Como obtener un nuevo iPhone una y otra vez. Acabo de conseguir hoy el nuevo iPhone 16 Pro.
¿Cómo?
Sí, y con AT&T Next Up Anytime puedo hacer un upgrade antes de tiempo cada año.
Increíble.
Siéntete como un MVP otra vez. Descubre cómo obtener el nuevo iPhone 16 Pro por cuenta nuestra y el último iPhone cada año con Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Conectarlo cambia todo. Sujeto a cambios. Aplican cargos, términos y restricciones. La oferta de $0 puede no estar disponible en futuros iPhones. La función Next Up Anytime puede descontinuarse en cualquier momento. Visita tt.com/iPhone para más detalles.